Being one of the world's top apex predators, you'd have to have a death wish to venture out into the wild with a grizzly bear without protection. Being close to 9 feet tall and weighing upwards of 1,000 pounds, sometimes it's still not enough. Hit that like button and subscribe right now. This is the terrifying grizzly attack of Leah Davis Lokan. Welcome to Final Affliction. Grizzly bears are one of nature's most terrifying apex predators. They are the largest of the bear species and are normally found in the northwestern United States and western Canada. The average male grizzly bear can be up to 6.5 feet tall. Some grizzlies, however, have been known to reach heights of up to 9 feet and weigh as much as 1,000 pounds. Grizzly bears possess long, sharp claws that can be up to 4 inches long. They also have a very powerful jaw, and their bite force is one of the strongest when it comes to mammals. A grizzly bear's powerful bite can crush a human skull with ease. Its sharp claws can easily puncture human flesh, and its razor-sharp teeth can cut through muscle and bone. In addition to their deadly claws and teeth, grizzly bears are also known for their volatile tempers, and they can be extremely dangerous, especially when threatened. Despite their size, strength, and short temper, grizzly bears are generally shy and reclusive animals. They will usually avoid contact with humans if possible. However, grizzly bears have been known to occasionally attack humans, especially if they feel threatened or when protecting their young. If you encounter a grizzly bear, it is important to stay calm and avoid making any sudden movements. Try to back away slowly and make yourself as small as possible. Whatever you do, do not run, as this may trigger the bear's predatory instincts to give chase. This is the tragic story of Leah Lokan, the story of a strong and fearless woman who had an ill-fated encounter with this ferocious predator. Leah Davis Lokan was born on December 16, 1955, in Corona del Mar, California. She enjoyed a childhood spent horseback riding and exploring the outdoors near her home in Laguna Beach. After many years of working as a registered nurse, specializing in surgery recovery, Leah moved to California and built a home for herself in 2016. Leah's horrifying tragedy began on July 6, 2021. Leah and her sister had arrived the day before at a small town called Ovando, situated in Montana. They were taking part in an ultra-endurance cycling event that ran from Banff, Canada to New Mexico, a journey of nearly 4,000 kilometers. Leah was a competitive cyclist who took part in mountain bike races. She never let her age weigh her down, and she even won the Mammoth National Champion Enduro race in July 2015 at 59 years old. In recent years, Montana's population of grizzly bears has expanded into new areas where people now live and visit. Consequently, interactions between grizzly bears and humans have been becoming more frequent in the northern Rockies. It got so worrying that requests were even submitted to lift the restrictions preventing the killing of dangerous wild animals such as bears, not only in Montana but also in the adjacent states of Wyoming and Idaho. Upon arriving at Ovando, Leah immediately wanted to go camping outdoors. She had even found a perfect spot behind a nearby museum where she could get a phenomenal view of the beautiful night sky. Her sister and friend weren't too keen on her plan, however, as they had heard reports of a wild bear roaming nearby. Her sister pleaded with her to ditch the risky idea and stay with her at a hotel, but Leah was too stubborn to heed her sister's warnings. She set up camp next to the Blackfoot River, failing to take into consideration that it bordered a forest where more than 1,000 grizzly bears roamed free. Despite the obvious risks, Leah felt relatively safe as she had not only brought with her a full can of bear spray, but she also met Texas couple Kim and Joe Cole, who shared her love for camping and erected their tent close by to hers, giving her a false sense of security. At 3 a.m., Leah was fast asleep when a hulking shadow appeared before her tent. Leah woke up to the sound of snuffling coming from nearby. She wasn't sure what it was, but it sounded big. The mysterious figure soon approached her tent, shrouding it in darkness with its shadow as it began sniffing where her head was located from the outside. Leah soon realized what that figure was and began screaming for help. Kim and Joe woke up to her screams and began shouting as well. The combined noise made by the trio was luckily enough to scare the bear away, as it soon retreated back into the darkness. After making sure the bear was gone, the couple ran to Leah's side to check up on her. She assured them she was fine, and they suggested it may be best for Leah to pack up her things and spend the rest of the night at a hotel for her own safety.
Officers said the food-conditioned bear showed no fear of humans and repeatedly ripped open coolers and pushed on tents in search of food.
Leah told the couple that the bear appeared to be looking around for something, and that it even huffed at her head. Apparently, that Grizzly was food-conditioned. Grizzlies that are food-conditioned have learned to seek out human food, which makes them highly dangerous as they no longer fear humans and more often than not associate humans with a potential meal when they see them. This is why it is important not to store any food in your tent when camping in an area where grizzly bears are known to roam, as it will only bring them closer to you. Leah thought that by distancing herself from any sources of food that may attract a bear's attention, she could spend the rest of her night enjoying herself out in the open as she always liked. Leah scoured her tent for any crumbs of food she could find. She put inside a bag everything she thought may attract a grizzly bear's keen sense of smell, including some lentils and dried blueberries, and stored it almost 30 feet away from her tent. Finally, she thought to herself, she could sleep in peace and not have to worry. What Leah failed to consider, however, was that the containers she used to store her food prior to the previous bear encounter still reeked of blueberries, something which a grizzly bear's phenomenal sense of smell can easily pinpoint. At around 4 a.m., the Coles were yet again awoken by horrifying noises. Joe realized that the noise was coming from Leah's tent and that she was being attacked, despite not hearing her yell out for help. After exiting their tents, the couple was mortified by what they saw. They quickly pulled out their can of bear spray and rushed toward Leah, unloading on the beast as it pounced up and down on her tent. After it finally had enough, the bear let Leah go and retreated back into the woods. The Coles noticed Leah wasn't moving underneath her now destroyed tent. They ripped the torn tent away from Leah's body and were mortified by what they saw. It was Leah, now sitting motionless and bloodied, her neck and spine contorted in an unsettling fashion as the nearly 500-pound bear had come crashing down on her with all its might, likely causing instantaneous death. After arriving at the scene, investigators found an almost empty can of bear spray that seemed to have been sprayed recently right underneath her tent. Despite allegedly moving all food away, investigators discovered a small bag of dried blueberries inside her tent, as well as a saddlebag full of food that was likely overlooked by Leah just outside the entrance to her tent.
In national news, we have disturbing details this morning about a California woman who was killed by a grizzly bear in Montana. Wildlife officials say that the bear pulled her from her tent in the middle of the night and killed her before fellow campers could use bear spray and get the animal to run away.
Investigators theorized that Leah was awoken out of her sleep for the second time that night to the sight of the bear creeping inside her tent. Her sudden movements to grab her bear spray likely caused the bear to swipe at her neck as she squeezed the can of bear spray at the bear. Leah was unable to talk as the deep bleeding gashes now prevented her from screaming for help. Blinded by the bear spray while half inside Leah's tent, the bear began jumping up and down in attempts to free itself. It landed repeatedly on top of her, breaking her bones and killing her. On the 9th of July, 3 days after Leah's death, a 4 to 7-year-old bear was seen breaking into a chicken coop and was shot by officers. DNA analysis from the bear's paws confirmed that it was indeed the one who took Leah's life. The Davis family, who had lost their loved one in this tragic event, were devastated, although hopefully they can find some semblance of comfort in knowing that the beast responsible won't be hurting anyone ever again. The tragic loss of Leah Lokan at the hands of a grizzly bear is a reminder of how important it is to be cautious when venturing into areas where these creatures are known to roam. No matter how well prepared you think you are when stepping into wild territory, sometimes there's just no avoiding an encounter with a wild animal. And as the human population continues to grow and expand into areas that were once wild and unexplored, the likelihood of coming face to face with a terrifying creature continues to increase. In the end, Leah's untimely death serves as a powerful warning to not only always be aware of your surroundings and take the necessary precautions, but to also heed nature's warnings and respect the boundaries of its many dangerous creatures. Otherwise, you may end up in death's cold embrace, your life withering away before your eyes as you're handed your final affliction.